Hello, hello. Okay, I wanted to make this a little more interesting than what it has been up until now, my little updates. I wanted to talk about training, some of the things that have come up, and whatnot. Okay, so training is about a week. Hopefully, under normal circumstances, it should actually be a full week. So Monday through Friday, which it's basically you have 4 days, and then the 5th day you present and you do your demo. And for the recovery teachers who just came in, it was cut short a day. So it was only 3 days of actual training and then the demo. So it's a lot of information. They have one of the best trainers that he does a good job. He gets you ready, and he gives you definitely the tools you'll need for your first classes until you kind of fill it out. You're like, oh. Yeah, one of those half of the days gets eaten up by health checks. We spent like 3 hours getting our health check and poked and prodded so many ways. So at the end of training, hopefully you will be meeting with your branch and then moving on to your apartment within the next couple of days. With the Hitachi branch, with this, there were only 2 people, myself and Stephanie, were placed with the Hitachi branch. So we basically got handed train tickets to head up to Hitachi on Tuesday after the long weekend because of Umi no Hi. And yeah, so we went to Hitachi. We were met by one of the workers and given a ride to the hotel, checked in, dropped our stuff off, and then went into the office for a couple hours of training. And we met another ALT who had been here like the week before, so he was like same track that we were on, but a week before. And apparently in Hitachi, at least, school is coming to an end for the term, so we're not teaching until next term, but we get the bonus of starting our paycheck earlier and moving into our apartment and settling in before we teach, and going in through and maybe actually reading more of that manual than we have time for during training. So then we came about the time that they had branch training, which is your, I'm not sure how often they do it, but I'm just going to say annual training where you get together and go through the training process again. At this point, I was just kind of like overtraining. I'm like, really? But they have different techniques. It's more set to where you will be located. Like, I think in Ibaraki here, they put a little more emphasis on communicating than actual games and things. So if you do games, have them be communicating with the students or using that language and understanding what they're doing with the language. Oh, that's kind of cool. I could tell the difference between the other teachers who were there that are veterans. Either they've been teaching for like at least a week or 2, or they've been teaching for a couple of years here in Hitachi. So seeing that they, like how they were in front of the class, and like one of the things during training we were to talk about a warm-up that had like no preparation at all that worked. So hearing some of the feedback and like, oh, I did this and this worked and all that was like really cool. So I met a guy during the training that, you know, they found out I was in Hitachi with them. And they're like, oh, where are you stationed? They're like, what schools? So I'm like, oh, teaching at, Nantoka Junior High School. And it's like, oh, I used to teach at Nantoka Junior High School. You stole my school. I'm like, sumimasen, I'm so sorry. We laugh. And he goes, oh, what other school do you have? And I'm like, oh, I only have a junior high and a elementary school. And I'm going to teach at Nantoka Elementary School. And he just gave me this look like, I used to teach at Nantoka Elementary School. You really did steal my schools. He apparently had 3 schools, and 2 of them said, don't come back next term, because they got me. So he apparently has 1 school, and I apparently have 2, and I'll spend like 4 days at Nantoka Junior High, and then 1 day a week at Nantoka Elementary School. So, that should be interesting. What else? Oh, so the Hitachi group is great. I have friends. Okay, so Jet says, what? Okay, when I speak in dollars, I'm just thinking of when the exchange rate used to be really good, and you could basically take 2 zeros off the yen amount, and you'd have the dollar amount, give or take. It's close-ish. It gets you to the ballpark, but you still got a ways to go nowadays, but that's what I mean. So Jet would want you to have like $2,000 as a starter. And then Interact says, you better have $5,000. Now with the current exchange rate, that is about $6,000. I was at the bank yesterday opening my account, and it was 76 yen for $1 cash. Buying cash is the lowest, so I would almost suggest getting traveler's checks and then trading them in, because you'll get a slightly better rate. I think it may be like 81, if not 80, 79 in there. But, yeah, it's, to come over here, I had like under 2 weeks notice. Well, I knew I was going, but I couldn't buy my ticket because I had no idea when I was going. Like, I assumed the first week of July, and then it turned out to be the second week. But I spent over $1,000 on my plane ticket, so that ate into the savings. And then life happened before, and that ate into my savings a bit more. And so I came over with a bit of a problem. Yeah, and more money disappeared. Like, I was packing the night before, and I finally said, screw it. You can only have 50 pounds for each suitcase. And at least with ANA, you're allowed 2 suitcases, but 50 pounds each. So I finally said, screw it, because I had like 64 pounds in my big suitcase. I'm like, it's only $30 if you go over with ANA. If you go over 50, between 50 and 70, it's just $30, which is not that bad. So I paid that. And then I sent 2 of my suitcases from the airport to the hotel. So that was 1,600 yen, so like $16, $20 each. Yeah, because those things are heavy. 64 pounds, and then I think it was like 50.1 or something like that was the other suitcase. Plus I had carry-on and laptops. I had 4 things that I'm sending to. Yeah, so, money just very quickly. And then, of course, it's hot here. And every time you go to the vending machine, it's 120 yen. That adds up fast. So at one point I was looking at having at least a couple of weeks until I got my loan, and about 4,000 yen or $40 on me. So I talked to the Tokyo office while I was there, and like, ooh, money, and oops, and help. Yeah, those words exactly. And they basically gave me a small portion of the loan in cash that day, so that was good. And then I was using that to hold me over until I got the loan. So I didn't get, so then I found out when I was heading to Hitachi that I would be spending another week in a hotel. So those of us going to Hitachi were told we're going to be spending another week in the hotel. I almost had a heart attack. Because to get the loan, you must have a bank account. I even have a bank account with another bank. It has to be a postal bank account. So, need that bank account. To get the bank account, you need to be registered as an alien. Which means you need your address. So, it's going to be a while. I took care of all that yesterday and finalized the loan. It's going to take 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I think their 1 week, 1.5 weeks is hopeful thinking. But then again, like anything that's kind of going wrong with Interact, I just kind of go, oh, there's a lot of chaos this year. I mean, the Hitachi branch itself is in temporary building because the building they were in previously, like, they didn't want to work in there after the damage from the earthquake. So, understandable, and I'm rolling with it. I kind of want to survive until August to teach. And I bet they want me to also. So, what can I do, right? So, I was just kept saying, money, eek. And they want me to move in on Monday, and I'm not getting the loan until the 5th. 2 weeks from now, and I'm like, I might be able to stretch out food, that's it. I can't buy like toilet paper for my apartment. I mean, there's also other things. I need a pillow, I need a sheet to go on my futon. I have a comforter, but not a sheet. So there's certain things I need to buy. You know, toothbrush, toothpaste, you know, even though I'm kind of hoarding some from the hotel. I'm stocking up. I'm smart. I know I got financial issues. So, they have been very, very helpful and willing to work with me. So they gave me a little bit of money to hold me over the next 2 weeks. And then when I get my loan, I'll pay that back. So I just have to say, talk to them about any problems you may have. Just talk to them. They'll do what they can. I mean, they are looking out for you, you know. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. The more I interact, no pun intended, I like the company more and more. So, it's going good. What else? So, I want to brag. Just a little bit. During our training in Hitachi, we had a member of the BOE sit in. I didn't think much of it because I did not connect that this BOE member was a member of my BOE. But I was like, oh, BOE, oh, okay. Training, whatever. So, I think there was a warm-up given, and then we were to discuss how we could improve said warm-up. So I gave a suggestion of adding emotion with it. That way kids can get more involved and more energy. And so after training, the MC tells me, you know what? The BOE member was really impressed with you. And, yeah, he really liked that you jumped up there and were willing to, like, try and all that. And I'm just like, yay, I scored points with the BOE. So that was happy. That made me happy. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think I rambled on long enough. I can't wait to move in and start sleeping in my own bed instead of these hard hotel room beds. I just hope I have some sort of furnishing furnishing when I move in. But I guess that's it for now, and I'll somehow try to put this together. Matanate.